You know, in the 111th Congress, we actually made a lot of progress working together. Maybe our single biggest success, especially for the NARFE agenda, was the passage of the Federal Retirement Reform Act. That one piece of legislation addressed the FERS Redeposit Act, allowing federal employees who left federal service, cashed out their TSP, to redeposit the annuity and start adding back to it. And that was a provision I was actually able to add during committee markup. FERS sick leave, allowing FERS employees annuity credit for unused sick leave upon retirement, providing parity with CSRS employees. We added the Part-Time Federal Employees Equity Act to calculate CSRS annuities based on the highest 3 years of income rather than the last 3 years, so that we're providing more flexibility in the workplace. The Whistleblower Protection Act, providing additional safeguards to whistleblowers, including an alternative to the Merit Systems Protection Board and stronger disclosure requirements. So we actually made some real progress in moving the NARFE agenda from aspirational into law. And it showed you what you can do with a Congress that's willing to listen to the needs of federal employees and federal retirees, in sharp contrast to the 112th Congress. But I'll go into that in a minute. We also passed the Telework Improvement Act, which I co-sponsored. John Sarbanes and I introduced in the last Congress. And I think that's going to make a lot of difference in terms of flexibility in the workforce. You know, we need to remember that, that as we look out to the future, 47% of the existing federal workforce is qualified for retirement this decade because of my generation, the baby boom generation. Now, I'm not going to retire, but some of those folks are ready to retire. And replacing 47% of the entire federal workforce is going to be a big challenge. And especially as the economy starts to pick up, we're going to be competing with a tighter labor force, especially in terms of the higher-end skill set. And we need more flexibility in that workforce, and we need to make sure that it's an attractive place in which to work. Now, I got to tell you, I don't think that cause is helped when public officials denigrate public service. I happen to be of the, I was a young man when John Kennedy was elected to the presidency, and he ennobled public service. He talked about, responding to the needs of your country by maybe making public service your career. And a lot of people heard that call and heeded that call and entered public service. What a world away we are when the now Speaker of the House talks about fattened paychecks and overpaid public servants, and that if the continuing resolution we pass guts benefits and compensation for federal workers, quote, so be it. And, at the end of the day, it's easy to make the public servant a punching bag. But the people who lose when we do that are the people we serve. It's the American people. And putting a face on public employment, reminding them who the federal employee actually is, I think is really going to be the challenge you and I face. We've got to make sure they're reminded that, we're not faceless bureaucrats. We're your neighbor who's helping process that Social Security check, providing that veterans care benefits. As I was waiting to come in here, a young man introduced himself who's in the Veterans Conference next door, a very young man, just got back from Iraq, was wounded by a rocket grenade attack. He's benefiting from medical care provided under the Veterans Administration. That's a federal program. That is federal health care. And he's back on his feet, and by the way, working at the EPA, a federal agency, which, by the way, we gutted in the continuing resolution, but oh well. I really believe very fervently that we need to fight back. We need to do it respectfully, but we can't allow people to demonize the federal workforce. We can't allow people to make statements that are cost-free when it comes to how we treat our federal retirees.